trusted partner in open source management.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. In today's video, we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that contribute to the complexities of the automotive software supply chain. Think about how these complexities might apply to the software supply chain that you're part of, and then what can you do to possibly reduce some of these complexities?
So we'll talk a little bit, just an overview of some of the high level open source challenges in the auto industry. Given our audience today, the material on these slides here, I'm going to assume that everyone has some familiarity with the basics of open source software, or OSS for short. So with the known complexities that we have in the auto supply chain, we know there's a number of challenges that are faced on a fairly regular basis. So the use of software in the vehicle has increased exponentially, as has the use of open source software in the vehicle. So there's still a gap in the supply chain and across the auto industry in general regarding awareness and education around use of open source, though there has been considerable improvements, especially over the last 18 to 24 months with the SBOM initiatives that have taken place. So it's not uncommon for one automaker to have a supply chain that spans 18,000 global businesses or more. Those global businesses then do businesses with other automakers, other automotive suppliers, and often with other non-automotive customers. So how can the automotive industry achieve compliance and awareness around use of open source without adding more burdens to suppliers that are already in this intricate supply chain? So I had an interesting, perhaps single view of this when I was at GM, and my thought was, if we were going to lead in this space and drive open source compliance into the supply chain, it was important to get everyone in our supply chain on board. So how better to do that, at least at that time, than to make it a requirement to disclose use of open source when providing software to GM. So now, as a consultant that not only helps automotive, but also non-automotive, I have a different view, or perhaps multiple views is the better term. If each automaker had their own set of requirements for open source, imagine what that variation does to a supplier in the supply chain that does business with multiple automakers or with other device manufacturers. Think of how many possible open source bill of material formats, or SBOM, software bill of material formats, or other compliance formats that you'd need to follow. So purely from my observations, it gets increasingly more difficult the further down the supply chain you go, as you have different variants of these requirements from each of your customers. So you're adding additional or more complexity to an already complex scenario. So this is an area that OpenChain can help to bring some consistencies to the approach, and can also help with reducing complexities in the space. But generally, it requires broad adoption by industry for it to be effective. So if you're new to OpenChain, or just joining as a first-time attendee to this session, I'd encourage you to have a look at the resources, the OpenChain resources. You can always reach out to me to help for any help. I'm happy to help clarify anything, or to be of any assistance along your open source journey.
Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, then please give us a like, and then subscribe below to get notified of new videos. If you want to learn more or get in touch, reach out via email, info@ossconsultants.com. Contact us on LinkedIn or Twitter, and there's also more information available at our website, ossconsultants.com.
Your trusted